Hey there guys, welcome to today's live stream. Doing it a tad early today than normal. Um, so I do want to discuss a few things before I get started discussing today's topic. You've probably seen that I have started doing the online fitness challenge, I have been promoting the new online fitness challenge, which starts towards the end of the month on October 24th. I will have more details on that in the coming weeks. I don't have a link yet to where you can sign up, but just be aware that it is coming up soon. I mean, it is a 14-day trial that you'll have access to my programming. You'll have access to Evolution Nutrition for 14 days, meal plan things of that nature. So you'll get all access to that. Again, I'll explain more details as it gets closer, and I will provide a link to where you can sign up. It does not require a payment method. You can do it for 14 days. You have access to it for 14 days, a full workout program by me. And of course, when it ends, if you decide that you don't want to continue on or you don't want to sign on into the program, it'll just end. So you won't have to worry about paying for anything. So there's no payment method that you have to put in. All you do is you put in your name and your email. But again, I'll provide a link to where you can sign up for that, and you'll get instant access as soon as the challenge starts. So I'll talk about that pretty soon, but let me go ahead and get into today's topic. Now I apologize for starting a little bit early. I just wanted to go ahead and start it because I had a few things that was going to get done. So again, I'll upload this video if you do miss the live stream and things of that nature, so you'll be able to watch it. But today I want to discuss about exercise modalities. Basically, what a modality is when it relates to exercise. It's basically pretty much a tool that you're using to help you with your exercise goals. So it's a device or tool designed to enhance exercise or movement to create a desired outcome. So that's basically what it means to use, or basically what an exercise modality means. So, of course, exercise modalities are primarily used for strength training and weightlifting. You know, you have dumbbells, free weights, things of that nature. But each different modality has sort of different uses. And depending on the modality, some of them are a little bit restricted on what you can do with them. And then some of them are more, I guess you would say, more wide-ranging uses to them. So that's what I want to discuss today, is a little bit about some of the pros and cons of each modality. And I won't go into detail with every one of them, but some of the most common ones and a few of the ones you may not have heard of, you may not use that often. So I want to discuss a few of them. But there's so many different modalities that you can use for exercise. I mean, there's a ton. So of course, I want to, sort of simplify it in a way to where you can understand it easier, to understand what these modalities do. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the common types of modalities. These are probably ones that you've heard of. You've got barbells, dumbbells, easy bar, strength training machine, and the Smith machine. So the barbell and dumbbell, I've got on here that they are free weights. So they are two different types. I mean, they're different modalities, but they're both in the same sort of category. The easy bar is somewhat related to the barbell. I'll discuss that a little bit later. And then you've got your strength training machine, which is basically sort of a machine that's using a fixed motion rather than free weights and dumbbells where you have more wide-ranging motion. And then the Smith machine is basically a barbell, but it's fixed onto the machine. That's the way I like to describe it. So these are the common types of modalities that I'm going to talk about first. Some of the uncommon ones or less used modalities, these are what I'll talk about afterwards. You have kettlebells, TRX, battle ropes, cable machines, things of that nature. So you probably never heard of some of these. Some of these you may have. Some of these are probably just less used. A lot of people don't use these as much. So these are some that we can discuss a little bit further. So another thing I'm going to discuss as well is proprioceptive modalities. So basically, what these are is proprioception is itself is being aware of the position of the body and limbs and movement. So these types of modalities are more based on stability and balance. So an example of some of these would be a stability ball, a Bosu ball, and a terracord. And I'll discuss a little bit into detail what these are, but they're somewhat separate from the other modalities in that they focus primarily on balance. And they can be accompanied with um, different types of modalities, such as free weights. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about free weights. So, what exactly is free weights? Free weights are an exercise tool, such as a dumbbell and or barbell, that are widely used to reach various fitness performance-based goals. Motions used with free weights are very similar to those of day-to-day life movements, with these movements increasing motor learning and are more proprioceptive and use a wide range of motions than any other modalities. So free weights are pretty much self-explanatory. You can use them in a wide variety of ways. The barbells are a tad more restrictive than the dumbbells. Dumbbells have so many various uses, but again, they can both target some of the same types of muscles. One thing with dumbbells is you can target your legs with lunges. The same with barbells. You can do lunges as well. You can do squats. So some of them, the barbell's a tad more restricted. I like to think, but the dumbbell has a more wide range of motion. And I believe, not that I believe, but primarily the dumbbell is more proprioceptive, which requires more balance than the barbell because you're using the barbell, you know, with both hands. You're not using it with one hand. So barbell is not to be used with one hand. But the dumbbells, they can be used with one hand, two hands. So there's a little bit more balance that comes to dumbbells rather than barbells. But they both have some similar functionalities and some a little bit different. So that's basically what free weights are. And again, another thing to put in consideration with free weights is that they're able to be moved around more. That's basically why it describes them as free weights, because you can take them off the rack, you can move them rather than them being in a stationary position. So these next ones are somewhat opposite of free weights, and that, again, like I said, when you talk about free weights, they can be able to be moved in so many different directions, different motions. Whereas these two machines, the strength machines and the Smith machines, are in the fixed motion. They are only using one fixed motion, and they can't be moved around or just freely moved, I guess you could say. So strength machines are easy to use and are recommended for more novice exercisers, or exercisers, I guess you could say. They are often accompanied with diagrams and target specific muscles depending on the machine and are focused on a fixed range of motion. So again, like I mentioned before, it's a fixed range of motion you're using with these machines. And when you start out exercising, even when I started out exercising, strength machines were really helpful to me. It's basically how I sort of understood certain exercises. Because a lot of times, if you go to the gym, they're usually going to show a diagram of what motion you're supposed to do with these exercises. And they're pretty easy to understand. They're just a specific motion that you're doing. And it's really simple. There's not too much to think about when you're using a strength machine. And there's so many different types of machines that target different areas. You've got, abs, you've got legs, you've got shoulders, chest, a lot of different types of strength machines that you can do if you're just not comfortable doing free weights. It's easy to get started with the strength machine. Smith machine. Smith machine is similar basically to a barbell. So a Smith machine is similar to the free weight barbell, but it is in a fixed position similar to strength machine and has notches on each side of the fixed barbell to lock the bar. So it's basically a strength machine in a way, but not technically. It's a barbell that's just sort of fixed into sort of a pulley, I guess you would say. And you use it pretty much the same way you use a barbell, except it's a little bit more restrictive where you can't do certain exercises with, using a Smith machine, but with a barbell you could do certain exercises. So it just depends. You can pretty much do a chest press like you would do with a barbell. You can do it the same way that you do with the Smith machine. So in a lot of ways, it's very similar to a barbell, but of course you can't take it off the rack. You can't move around with it. That's the only difference with the Smith machine is it's fixed. It's fixed onto the machine, whereas you can't. Whereas with the barbell, you can take it off the rack and you can move it around freely. All right, kettlebells. So kettlebells are a flat-bottom cast iron ball with a handle. Kettlebell itself was actually used as a unit of measurement for farming scales. The difference between other free weights is that the kettlebell has its mass away from the handle, which may require more strength and coordination using it in exercise. So a kettlebell in itself can have similar motions to a dumbbell, but again, you have this handle that is attached to a ball, so it's somewhat different. For example, some exercise you can do with kettlebell, you can do, like a kettlebell pile squat. You can do basically, single arm kettlebell squat. You can do lunges with the kettlebell. There's so many different things that you can do with kettlebells. They're pretty, I would say they're pretty wide ranging with the motions that you can do with kettlebells, like, dumbbells. I've actually started using kettlebells more. I used to never use them. I used to never be that interested in them. But there's so many different things that you can do with kettlebells that are different than dumbbells. And the difference is, of course, is you got the mass away from you got the bar with the mass away from it. So it's a different type of sort of modality. Once you get used to it, it's a fun sort of modality to use. I use it a little bit more often than I used to, but there's so many different things that you can do with a kettlebell. I mean, it's a wide range of exercises you can perform with it. So the next one we have is a cable machine. The cable machine themselves can be used for a wide variety of fitness and sports performance benefits. They have the ability to offer resistance for all body parts and can be effective for developing stability, muscular endurance, as well as hypertrophy. They are all, I should say, have a typo. They are also a great option for challenging the muscles of the core region. So, cable machines, again, I like to say that they're basically a more free motion strength machine. Like, you have more ability to move with a cable machine than with a strength machine, of course, because it's in a fixed position. So that's the way I like to describe it, as a more free movement strength machine. Cable machine, you use a lot of different, there's so many different sort of attachments that you can use with it. You can use like a single bar, you can use sort of like you have like the pull down with the triceps. You can do there's so many different attachments that you can add to it. There's a lot of the triceps are the ones that I have used the most with the cable machine. You can, of course, do chest exercises with the cable machine. There's a ton. I mean, it's pretty much wide ranging with what you can do with it. And it is definitely a lot of weightlifters, a lot of people who do, focus more on hypertrophy. They're going to likely use the cable machine pretty often. I use it more than I used to. It's it's actually kind of like one of my favorite machines to use. There's so many different movements that you can do with it, and then you have, it kind of has like you have your stability and resistance to it when you're using a cable machine. So, it can be used for wide ranging different motions. So, battle ropes. Over recent years, battle ropes have gained in popularity as it relates to fitness. Battle ropes are great for more high intensity based workouts. Although battle ropes provide full body conditioning, they are considered a more low impact activity, which means they put less stress on the joints themselves. I've not used battle ropes really that often. They are a more, I guess they're more, again, they're more popular nowadays than they used to be. But it is more of a conditioning based um, modality, I guess you would say, and it's not used as much. So again, you depending on what you're trying to pursue in your fitness journey, whether you use battle ropes, it's more primarily specific to a target audience, I guess you would say. So that's a little bit about battle ropes. Elastic bands. This is a really good one to talk about. Elastic bands and elastic resistance training is a great alternative to free weights. Various elastic bands can be used to help improve coordination, muscular endurance, as well as joint stabilization. An example exercise with elastic bands can include band bicep curl, band chest fly, etc. So, a really cool thing with the elastic bands that you can do, and they're a really cheap alternative too. Like, if you work out at home, this is a great equipment to have because it's cheap. It's very inexpensive. And what's really nice about it is that you can use elastic bands in some of the same ways that you would use, say, free weights, like, dumbbells. You can do curls with it. You can do flies with it. You can do so many different exercises with an elastic band. It's wide ranging, and what's cool about it is you can do it at home. That's what I really like to encourage. More of my, I guess, if you don't go to the gym, or if you're slowly starting to get to going to the gym, I think this is a great alternative because the last time I looked, they're like $7-10, I think, to get elastic bands online. So again, they're a really cool alternative if you want to work out at home, and you can do some of the same sort of exercises, strength based exercises at home with elastic bands. So I would definitely recommend them to anybody who doesn't really go to the gym but kind of exercises at home. It's a great alternative to free weights. So the stability ball and the Bosu ball. Stability balls, which sometimes can be known as Swift balls, are primarily used to proprioceptively enrich in exercises. In other words, they require the increased demand of stability. For example, they can be combined with dumbbells. Bosu ball is somewhat different from stability balls, but the difference, to put it simply, is a stability ball cut in half. It's an inflated rubber hemisphere attached to a solid plastic surface. It can be used in a wide variety of exercises, much like the stability ball, to increase proprioception. So the stability ball is a more proprioceptive, and when I say proprioceptive, what that really means is it's more, you have to focus on your balance, basically. So stability balls can be accompanied with, dumbbells and so many. I mean, you can accompany it primarily with the dumbbell, whereas you can use it for different types of row exercises, cobra exercise. So it's more of a balance. It's more focusing on your balance and stability when it comes to using the stability ball. The Bosu ball is somewhat similar to the stability ball, and it's basically a stability ball cut in half where it's got like a plastic bottom, but the top is a ball shape. So you can use it. It's more stable. Like a stability ball, you cannot stand on, but the Bosu ball, it's more stable to where you can stand on it. You can use the top of the ball, or you can use the bottom of it to more have a more proprioceptive enriched type exercise with the Bosu ball. So they're similar, but again, the stability ball you can't stand on, but you can use it like laying on with like using rolls with dumbbells or the cobra exercise. And the Bosu ball you could do like squats with dumbbells and you can stand on it. So that's sort of the difference between the stability ball and the Bosu ball. So medicine balls. Medicine balls are weighted balls that can come in an assortment of sizes as well as weight. They are actually one of the oldest resistance training modalities. They can be used by a wide varying of populations as a part of a workout program. They can be used to increase muscular strength and power. So medicine balls are a very old modality. They've been around a long time. And it's actually, to sort of quote it lightly, it's one of the four horsemen of resistance training, or fitness, I should say. And it was actually, so when I say that they're the oldest means of resistance training, they are actually dated back to the Greeks and the Egyptians nearly 3,000 years ago. So that's how old the use of the medicine ball is. And the reason that they got their name as a medicine ball is, of course, it was used in more rehabilitative, type uses, so, rehab based is where medicine balls are used, and that's sort of where they get the medicine sort of name from. But a lot of different populations can use medicine balls. I mean, older people, this is a really good modality to use for older people. It's easy to use. They have different weights, different sizes, and again, you can do so many different things. You can do squats with them. You can do push-ups with them, and in some similar ways, they can be used for stability. Like if you're wanting to do more, more stability-based exercises, more proprioceptive exercises, you can use in that way, or you can use it for simple motions like squats and things of that nature. They can be thrown to do more power-based exercises. So like a chest pass would be another good thing you could do with them. So there's a wide ranging things that you can do with medicine balls, and they're very good for older populations, I would say. So again, anybody could use them, but they have so many different, just so a wide variety, like every other modality I've talked about. But again, some of these modalities are specific to certain things, like the stability ball is more balance based, whereas you have free weights that are more strength based. So it's just depending on what you're wanting to do with your fitness goals, or what you're pursuing with your fitness journey, I should say. Alrighty, so that's about it for basically the modalities that I wanted to discuss today. Again, there's others that I didn't discuss here, that I might discuss in the future. But I hope you sort of understand what each of these mean and sort of get an idea of what the modalities are used for. I wanted to discuss this because I think it's not really discussed what exactly each sort of modality is used for. And so I wanted to go a little bit more into detail with that. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. Again, I have my email and my phone number if you need to contact me about anything if it's related to the live stream, or if you want to talk about, workout program, or any sort of questions that you may have. You can contact me there. Um, and again, I do want to reiterate about the online fitness challenge. It will be starting October 24th, and I will provide a link pretty soon and provide more details um, as to how you can sign up and when you can sign up. So be sure to watch out for that. It'll likely go in the group, and then I'll also probably post it on my main Facebook page as well. So thank you guys for watching, and I will likely have another live stream next week. I've not figured out what it may be that I'll be discussing, but I will definitely share that with you guys pretty soon. And again, I thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, or if anything confused you. I would be willing to answer those questions, and I will definitely have another live stream coming up, and we'll discuss some more fitness and health related topics. So thank you guys for watching.